Welcome to Perth's #1 podcast. You're listening to the Jamo and Dylan Show.
Yeah, we're on the way to Dunsborough, little mad trip with the boys. We're celebrating.
G'day guys and welcome back to the Jamo and Dylan Show, episode 43, and today we have Jesse, aka True Footy. How are you today?
Good, thanks, mate. Yes, thanks for having me on. It's nice to be on the other side of the podcast, you know, not having to think of all the questions. So, yeah, it's pretty cruisy.
That is
Very
good.
Very good.
We've had extreme technical difficulties this morning, which is why Jesse and Jamo are sharing a mic.
Yeah,
It's
look,
very frustrating.
they do say sharing is caring, but I think this is a bit overboard. But we wanted to get the potty out, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, got to make sacrifices for greatness.
That's it. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How old are you? What do you do?
Sure. So name's Jesse. I'm 26. Work at Bunnings, and I started True Footy YouTube channel a few years ago, like late 2017. Right at the end of the footy season, which was a questionable decision. Like right when everyone stopped caring about footy is when I started smashing content. And then that's just sort of built over time. I went to Curtin Uni, did law and commerce, and finished that last August. Went to Europe, and so I've done the uni thing. Still work at Bunnings, and people question that every day because I wear my Curtin Law hoodie around, and people give me shit for it. But so there's a bit going on there, and but at the moment, just full-time Bunnings and full-time YouTube as well.
On the road to 10K on YouTube as well, getting close.
Getting there slowly. I think I went from like 1K to 5K in a few months and got really arrogant. And I was like 20K by the end of the year, boys. So to be only 8K like some 12 months later is, I don't know, it's actually almost like kind of a burn. Like it's almost frustrating, but I can't be ungrateful. I've got a really good sort of community going and really enjoy what I do.
For sure.
That's great. It's great to hear. It's great to see Perth creators coming up.
Yeah.
We don't have that many. And obviously we've seen the footy YouTube scene rise. Obviously with Caden McDonald, who's a good friend of the show. Young King Cookson, Druzy, True Footy, Backyard Charizard. The lot. I know I'm missing a few, but...
It's quite a few now. Like they've really popped up in the last like 12 months, I'd say. So that's good.
That's real good. So... Druzy told us...
You have an interesting life, mate, don't you?
A bit of an interesting life, bit different to the normal Aussie, right? Would you call yourself Australian?
I would, yes. I've never really lost that sense of being Aussie, but...
Yeah, I thought would you have like an accent? Because he said you were overseas for ages, right?
Yeah, like...
So tell us about that. That's insane.
Probably more than half of my life I've spent overseas, actually. So I didn't actually live in Perth until I was 19.
Were you born overseas, or...?
So I was... My parents lived in Bangkok when, like, throughout the 80s and 90s. I'm born in 93. They flew back to Perth for me to be born, I guess because of the passport.
Are they Australian or are they...
Yeah, they're both from Perth.
Okay.
My dad was an architect and he just got a gig overseas. Got a good job in Bangkok and, like, decided, you know, what the hell, let's go do it.
That'd be wildlife.
Yeah. I mean, it was like the late 80s and Bangkok's pretty wild, I guess. They sort of had kids around that time, so probably a bit more relaxed. But they moved to like hardcore country Thailand as well at first to build a golf course, sort of like where the village, none of them speak English. They sort of like, my mum became fluent in Thai. But then 5 years later I was born, flew back to Subiaco to be born and then went straight back and then lived there for 8 years.
How was that?
It was all right. Like, it was an international school that I went to. But obviously, there was a lot of Thai kids, a lot of, like, very multicultural. And I did have an American accent, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, until I was weird. I had an Australian accent at home because I didn't want my dad to judge me for having an American accent. And then I would go to school and have an American accent to fit in. Then I moved to Bunbury between 8 and 14. Wow. Yep. And then Dad got another job overseas because he sort of found that he struggled to get a job at his age back in Perth to the sort of same lifestyle that he was kind of used to. And so we went back to Abu Dhabi. We went to Abu Dhabi between 14 and 19. And then I came back for uni at 19, so lived in Perth ever since. And Aussie accent's still going strong.
Wow.
That's wild.
That is wild,
I love hearing international stories because obviously we've lived here forever.
Yeah.
We've gone on little trips here and there overseas, but we haven't really got the chance to experience life
or
overseas.
live in another place. You know what I mean? I've never lived somewhere else. So what's like Abu Dhabi like living there?
Yeah, so really good. So when I was 14, I was 14 when I moved over, and that was a rough age to move because I was like, had a massive crush on a girl in Bunbury and I got wrenched out of school to go like move to the Middle East. Like it's a hard sell to a 14-year-old I was like going through that real hormonal pissed off teenager phase at the time. So I hated moving over there, but became friends with there's a lot of Poms over there. Similar sort of deal. Everyone was like unhappy to have come to the Middle East and live, and then we all just sort of bonded from that. I absolutely loved it. I still kind of think of it as home.
Okay.
Because I moved back from uni by myself, like 5 years later. But really good place. Not a great place to go if you're under 21 because you got to be 21 to drink there. So like my high school experience would have been a lot less wild than some of you boys. Like like you guys talked about leaving and stuff. That wasn't a thing for me. It just wasn't a thing. So, other than that, I really enjoyed it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
What about the international school? So what nationalities were there predominantly? So obviously you spoke about the Poms. Who else?
So the UAE, which is a country that hosts Abu Dhabi and Dubai, for people who don't actually know that, that is 70% subcontinent, so Indian and Pakistani. So that actually made up a lot of the school, even though it was a British school. There were just a lot of Indian and Pakistani kids who wanted like a British education. But in terms of like the Western community, a lot of Canadians, a lot of South Africans, a few Aussies. I think I was one of the only one or two people from Perth that I'd met across there, or from over east and stuff like that. A really good blend. I think I sort of really bonded with the Poms. I think culturally they're the most similar.
Yeah, they are
to Australians.
Is it fancy there? Like the city and stuff? Is it? It's pretty developed, right?
It is. So you get like the heart of the city is like really developed, really bougie, like quite nice and new age, I guess. And then you got like, if you fly over it, you'd be like, what the fuck is this place? Like, wait, you can swear on here, right?
Yeah.
I thought so. I thought you could, and then as soon as I said it, I doubted it. I was like, yeah. You fly over it and think you were just flying over like Agrabah. Like, it's very like sandy and deserty in between the cities, but then the actual CBD is quite like, pretty nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Have you been back since, or?
Yeah, so my sister still lives there. Funnily enough, like I lived there just with my parents. I have two sisters who stayed behind. Then one of the sisters traveled to Dubai with her then husband because he got a job at Emirates. So coincidence, we're both living in there at the same time. Yeah. And then she went through a divorce, got remarried to a Canadian, and now like they live in Dubai together, and I'm here. While it sucks to obviously live in a different country to my sister, it's a cool reason to go back. I've got nieces and nephews there, and so I do try and go back every year. I went last year. It's an easy trip through to Europe as well. So if you're going to Europe, good excuse to spend like a week in Dubai, where she lives.
It's a well-travelled family, isn't it? It's crazy.
Would you recommend travelling to Abu Dhabi to us, like just to the the 18, 20-year-olds?
Not if you're 18 or 20, because you got to be 21 to drink. So my high school experience was fun in the sense, well, it was actually kind of terrifying in some ways. So like, when you're under 18, you sort of sneak around to parties when you're like 15 or 16, 17 and getting drunk and stuff like that. If you do that over there, you can actually get deported. So
fuck it.
Yeah, like
are they really strict over there?
Yeah,
the law?
so like it's not like Saudi. Like some people think it's like Saudi Arabia. You got to wear like a hijab when you go out if you're a woman. Like that's not the case. Like it's fairly Western in that sense. There's a lot of Western influence, but in terms of being like going out and drinking, it's eased a lot because of the tourism. But yeah, if you're like 16 and you're pissed and you're like, say if you get pissed and throw up in a taxi, they'll drive you straight to the cops, and then you will literally spend like X amount of time in jail, like a week if you're lucky, and then get deported and never be able to come back. Like, so the threat of that was always pretty high.
Damn.
So like, I must admit, I can say this now because I don't live there anymore, but I at the age of 17, I was able to sneak into a few nightclubs, and the nightlife there is pretty shit.
I was going to ask, would it be good there, or?
It depends. So like here, like you can just casually go to a nightclub and just smash beers with your mates and like sort of, I don't know, you contrast that with Dubai where it's kind of like table service. Everyone sort of chips in like some of the money that gets thrown around. They'll spend like several grand on like massive bottles of vodka to like service you throughout the night. So there's like a high buy-in as well, like almost like a poker game. There's like it's capital intensive to go out, and yeah. So like from that sense, it's different, and yeah, it's a bit older. It's very male dominated as well.
Oh, really?
So
Not many
it's like-
girls there?
Yeah, it's like 70. Oh, I'm talking shit now, but I'd say like upwards of 70% male the country. So like girls, it's like ladies' night every night. You drink for free basically.
Oh, right.
So if you're a girl and you're like going out and clubbing and being surrounded by dudes,
You'll be alright?
yeah, you'll be alright. You'd love
Free
that.
drinks all night? Fuck.
Yeah.
But look, that ratio is shit.
Yeah,
Like,
that's horrible. You never want...
No.
Parties are never good when there's 70% blokes.
No, it's horrendous. But it sounds like you had a good time.
Yeah. I did.
It sounds like you had a good time.
For sure.
Favorite Middle Eastern food?
I must admit, I wasn't too adventurous with the Middle Eastern food because it was such an Indian and Pakistani influence. Like, I love Indian food. Like, I'll go there all the time. I remember this one time I did go to this small little place. I don't even know what it was called. And it was just basically fried chicken on some rice. And they were like, this is the Middle Eastern equivalent of McDonald's. And I was like, fuck, this is sick. So that is like the extent of the Middle Eastern food. But like you can, because it was so Western, you could just go out to a Nando's and Macca's. And
They
like
have Nando's there? That's sick.
yeah,
Fuck
yeah. I think towards the back end of me being there, Nando's came out. And then all like heaps of American chains like Wendy's and stuff like that. You get access to that sort of stuff, which is pretty cool. So yeah, wasn't too adventurous with the food. Are you adventurous with your food?
No way. We actually had a girl message
Later
in
on.
this week. Yep. But we'll talk about it a bit later. But she's a picky eater, and she's not happy about the stigma surrounding picky eating.
I've become adventurous lately.
Right.
Yeah, been trying new foods.
Yeah, and last week you had a shit Japanese experience.
I had a good seafood experience actually a few days ago.
Okay.
Went to the cast, got
Right.
this thing called the seafood basket, and I tried mussels for the first time. Impressed.
Really?
Yeah, they're good.
I've never tried mussels, and I probably should, but I just the look and
No,
the
it's
texture.
scary, bro. It is scary.
Yeah.
But then I felt like a better person for liking it.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like it's good for my stomach just to have new things in there. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
I lost track of where I was. Middle Eastern food. Being picky eaters. I had something else, now it's gone.
Did you have a girlfriend over there in the Middle East?
I did.
Find any love?
I did, yeah. So when I was 15 and 16, I dated a Pommy girl.
Okay.
She's from Newcastle, actually. She was a Geordie. Then she moved away, and that's actually one of the tougher things about living there was everyone was there for a short amount of time. So you could make a friend, and I think there was 3 years in a row in high school I had a best friend, and then they would leave at the end of the year.
Really?
Yeah, so that kind of sucked. Like it wasn't too like depressing or anything, but it's just like when you have to make that adjustment every single year, that was tough. So yeah, my girlfriend moved away. And then like a year later, I started dating this Kiwi Syrian girl.
Oh, what a mix.
Yeah, she was. She was, and I think she was part Maori as well, somewhere in there. So she was quite mixed. Yeah, and that was great. But one thing I realized was, just to give you a taste of what it's like there, like I didn't know for the first 2 years of the relationship, her parents didn't know about me. Oh, so I'd met her parents, and
they didn't know you were the boyfriend.
They didn't know I was the boyfriend.
Is that not allowed? Would they like?
Well, I didn't think it was a problem until that, until I found out, and I was like, "What the hell?" Yeah. So like, I would go over there like in a group environment, and we'd all be hanging out. And then I can't remember how I found out, but one day I think she got in trouble because her parents found out, and I was like, "What do you mean they found out? Like they didn't know?" So I think the fact that I was non-Muslim and they were Muslim would have been an issue because like there was no prospect of marriage. Like they were never.
And that's what it's all about for them.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like like if I think you have to be Muslim to marry a Muslim woman, so I would have had to convert and stuff like that. So yeah, that side of it was hard, but we did get 2.5 years out of a relationship, so I did it right in the end.
Hats off to you.
That's
big
commitment, eh?
respect. And look, you stayed under the radar. You flew under the radar, although you didn't know. But look, I'm proud of you. That's a pretty cool story.
Did you see her parents after they found out you were the boyfriend?
I don't think I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think I
They
did.
put a stop to that.
Or maybe once, like months later. But yeah, no, thankfully no awkward situations came up. I just thought they were like, oh, wow, these guys really like me up until that point. Yeah, crickets after that.
I remember my question. So just before you said you had an American accent, was that through the international schooling?
You know what? You could probably blame it mostly on my sister. My middle sister was quite popular. I had a lot of American friends. So I think I kind of got that off her. But yeah, there was quite a few Americans in Bangkok, not so much in the UAE. But when I moved to the UAE, I wouldn't say I ever lost my Aussie accent, but there were times where people thought I was British.
Yeah.
Just because, all my mates were British. And then, like, all the TV I watched was English. Like, I watched The Peep Show, Black Books, like all those kind of UK shows. That's what I grew up watching. And so, like, I've heard videos of myself where I sound like almost pommy. And then coming back to Australia was actually quite weird in itself as well. Like, adjusting as a 19-year-old coming back to go to Curtin Uni. I found it very hard to actually socialise with Australians again.
Must be a different type of people, right?
Yeah, and just the high school experience was different. So, like, when I moved over, I had to get my licence at 19. So I didn't have a licence, had never been clubbing. It was still a novelty to me that I could go out and buy a carton of beers and sing piss at home. Like, I just had a very different sort of upbringing. And so socially, I found myself very awkward when I first moved to Australia. It probably took, I reckon, 2 years before I started to feel like Perth was home. Yeah. Which was quite a strange adjustment. I almost found it harder coming back than I did going away.
That's crazy. And how does Perth compare to living in over there? Like, is Perth, do you like living in Perth better than in Abu Dhabi or in Bangkok? Or
look, I think I extracted the best I could out of Abu Dhabi at the time through high school. Like, I don't regret anything of it. I loved living there, even though, like, maybe I wasn't getting pissed as much at 16 years old. But I think coming back for uni and just sort of setting up my adult life, I'm really glad I came back when I did, even though it sucked to leave and I left my parents behind. Coming back and, just sort of like having a car. Like, that was something I couldn't do over there. Driving to uni, having my own life. I absolutely love Perth now. It's definitely home. And I think I've lived here now. I've lived in Perth longer than I lived in Bunbury. So other than Bangkok, this is the second place I've lived longest in my life.
Okay.
So it's good.
That's cool.
So now onto the footy. Right. So obviously you lived in Bunbury at a younger age, and I guess where did your love for footy begin, and why are you pursuing, I guess, a career in that now?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, because I'd never heard of footy much until I was 8. And then came back and just adopted the Eagles as my team, because that was what my dad and, they all went for the Eagles. I believe it or not, between 8 and about 15, I was mad cricket, and footy was like the backseat sport for me. And I played a bit of cricket and I got good at cricket, and then that kind of got serious. So I started to hate it, as you do with sports that get serious for some people. But I'd say when I started to get obsessed with the Eagles and footy in general, it was about 2010. The Eagles had just won the Spoon, and what a year to start getting into it. I was a pretty big fan before that, but this is the one where I started to think about it all the time.
Yeah.
That happened overseas, ironically, and back then, as a footy fan overseas, that was tough because you couldn't. There was no KO Sports. There's no AFL Live Pass. It was like listen to 6PR over the internet to listen to the game.
That's
and then,
commitment, eh?
Yeah, and there was no highlights on YouTube. Like, that only started in 2015, which is crazy to think about. Yeah, so I guess for several years there I was just grinding my love for the Eagles. It was a bit of a battle, but I guess up until 2017, that was when we started the channel. My friend Joyce came up with the idea of we were fans of the True Geordie podcast. I don't know if you guys
of course,
absolutely
legend,
that. Yeah. So once we saw that, I kind of got inspired, and we were how can we adapt this to something we're good at? And for us, that was talking about footy, and kind of got inspired. And then as I started that, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but it was kind of as you've been doing YouTube for a number of years. When you start, you're just oh no, it's just a bit of a piss take, bit of fun, see where it goes. And then, but secretly, I think deep down, I was always I really want to give this a good crack, so that even if it's not successful, I can say I had a crack at my best avenue into working the AFL industry, which was always my dream. So I've been going hard at it since, and while I alluded to earlier, it probably hasn't grown as much in the last 12 months as maybe I'd hoped it would originally, I still love it way too much to sort of give it away. I don't know, maybe that's something you boys could relate to.
100%, and I don't think we're stopping anytime soon. 'Cause
you go through fast and slow times of growth. there's times when everything's going well and you think I'm fucking gonna make it in 6 months and driving Lambos, and then it like just we had a thing where the subscribers dropped, like they were deactivating accounts that are like whatever, and we lost like 100 subscribers, and that's just like, oh yeah, thanks a lot. Like,
it hurts, but
that's
look,
a kick to the gut, eh?
that's just part of life.
Yeah.
We got them back now, so that's all right.
Yeah, but ups and downs in the business.
100%. So, when you lived in Bangkok, at what age did you live there again?
0 to 8.
0 to 8. So, how much do you remember from living there?
I do remember fragments. So, like, I'll remember people. We had a maid, because everyone did there. And when people hear that, they go, "Oh, you must have been rich." But it's just like the cultural thing. Everyone sort of has a maid, and it's good to give sort of lower socioeconomic people jobs. Like, it's actually good for their economy. I just had to justify that.
You're saying you're promoting slaves?
Yeah. You got me. And then a driver and stuff like that, which was pretty much part of the extended family. So I remember all that fairly well. And I just have like memories of years 1 to what time? It would have been year 3 was my final year. So I guess as well as anyone remembers years 1 to 3, but yeah, there were still some pretty good memories. I remember enjoying it and being really sad to leave, even though I was just a kid. So yeah.
And what about your adventure to Europe? What was that like? What was your favourite country? And what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so like surprise, I'm a little bit well travelled. So I didn't actually do the Europe thing like some other people do. So some people who live in Australia their whole lives will do like a Kentucky, see as much as they can in 30 days.
Yeah.
I'm very privileged and like as a kid had gone to Europe a bunch. So for me, I just picked a few places to go, which I just sort of wanted to soak up and not necessarily do like a couple of days in each place. I actually went over there for my cousin's wedding in Croatia, which was amazing. That was probably my it's tough to say my favourite, because then I spent 11 days in London. And there's just something about the UK. I think for some people, I was talking about this with Druzy, and like there's just something about being in England and soaking up the culture. Like I could happily live there.
Yeah?
I don't know if I would now that I've started this footy thing. Like I think that would be a bit tough to sustain, but if that goes down the gurgler, maybe. But so I went to Dubai, Croatia, England, and that's actually it. I only went to those 3 countries now I think of it, unless I'm going blank. I spent like a week in Croatia, so it was about a 4-week trip and pretty chilled out. As you can imagine, London got a bit loose. I was with a couple of friends from high school, went up to Liverpool, went to Manchester.
Are you a soccer fan or?
Yeah, I am. I'm actually a Liverpool fan, so
there you go.
Yeah,
good year.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's a drought-breaking year, and then I kind of half-heartedly go for Leeds as well. So
they're coming up.
Exactly.
Season. That's
so
cool.
yeah, we got the double, Leeds and Liverpool as well. What about you boys? Who do you go for?
Yeah, I go for Manchester United. I have forever, so
Yeah, right.
we did a shit for a while, but had a good end to the season.
Yeah, I was going to say you finished 3rd.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Holy shit.
And I support Manolo Gabbiadini, who's an Italian striker. He moved to Southampton a couple of years back, had one of the best starts to his career at a Premier League club, and then got injured. And then since then, he's gone back to Italy, played for Sampdoria. So wherever he goes, I go. So yeah, I've got a soft spot for Southampton just because I don't know what they do with the young players, and they just ship them off to the better teams. But look, they had an okay season. I wouldn't say I support them. I used to watch plenty of Premier League back when I played soccer, but I don't know. I just love the drama that happens within the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I guess Liverpool does have a lot to thank Southampton for as well, for half their team, like Mane, Van Dijk,
sure,
and you go Klein, Lallana. Like it really added up. It was fantastic. Yeah.
That's what happens, You take from the little teams and go and win a league.
That's it. That's another thing actually that was in the Middle East. The Premier League was huge there.
Yeah,
soccer is massive there. So I really got into Liverpool during that period, and thankfully it paid off in 2020, even though it was a coronavirus ruined season and there's no
That's
crowd.
Right. At least you won the Champions League as well last season.
Yeah.
So it's been a good few years for Liverpool.
Hold like every major title at the moment.
It's crazy.
So, it's hot.
Do you see West Coast winning again this year, you reckon?
I am notoriously a negative Eagles fan, and I think that really comes through on my content as well. But lately I've been vibing them. Like I've only tipped them incorrectly twice this year against Gold Coast and Port, and I think everyone got the Gold Coast one wrong. It's just a tough one. Look, right now we just like annihilated Collingwood, and like we look real hot, but also Collingwood did not turn up. So like it's one of those things where we look better than we are, and Collingwood look a lot worse than we are. They are. A big test will be tonight. At the time we record this, the Eagles are about to play Geelong on Saturday night on the True Footy live stream as well. Get around it. Look, as long as we're lucky and we're going to be playing some good teams in Perth. But what I'm worried about ultimately is having to play finals in Queensland, because I think that's going to be realistic. I wouldn't be surprised if everyone has to play all their finals in Queensland. Otherwise, you're going to have teams isolating here and there.
Well, they're already setting up for it. I saw they're making like booking hotels and shit. It looks pretty set in stone. So
yeah, so I think that will work against the Eagles. I think at the risk of making excuses, they're not a very good team when it's like dewy and contested. And if we're playing like Richmond or dare I say it, Brisbane at the Gabba on a Saturday night in dewy conditions, that makes me nervous. But on quality, I think they're probably just about as good as anyone. Yeah.
Definitely. Can't disagree with that.
So look, you got a Fremantle supporter and an Adelaide supporter.
Yeah, my whole life. Because when I was growing up, my favourite players were Andrew McLeod and Mark Rashudo, so stuck with them.
Well, they're a pretty good team to go for. Ultimately.
Usually we're good. We're in finals and then heartbreak in 2017 and then crumbled since then. So
what's happened to your club?
I don't know, man.
How's it been as a fan to go through?
It's been tough, I reckon. You know, it has been. Like, I've never gone through a stage of my team being like, because like I said, Adelaide for the most part would make finals at least every second season, and you know everyone leaves Adelaide lately. The media hates us. It's just sad, bro. It just hurts, you know. But I think Matthew Nicks is a good coach, and I think we'll be right in a few years. We've got some good young players, and I think they're getting games now. Like, this season's a wash. We'll get a lot of draft picks this year. Hopefully we pick well in 3-4 years. See what happens.
I've been saying 3-4 years for the last 20 years, mate. Fucking hell. 2013 was probably the best year of my life, and we lost the grand final.
Yeah, 2017 was my best year because we made the grand final, and then when we lost, it was one of the saddest moments of my entire life.
And I remember we had, was it an 18th?
Oh, yeah.
The night of the grand final, we had an 18th, and we were all excited for it, but it was on grand final day. His team's just lost the grand final. He walked in very, very upset.
2018 must have been good for you. That was an incredible grand final.
2018 was one of the best years of my life,
Yeah.
and that really capped it off as well. I was there. I've been in there. I was there in 06 when we won by a point. I was there in 15 when we got annihilated. Drove over for that. That was painful. Painful drive back. Really hungover during the grand final as well. So it was just absolute hangover from hell. But 2018 was really special. Booked in like round 9 to fly over to Melbourne just on a punt, and then happened to make it and to win the game by 5 points. Like,
that was an insane game.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
I'm really milking the 2018 AFL content. It's still coming out. Like, the grand final videos are still coming out. So, yeah, fair to say, big day for me. Big day for me.
I was so jealous, man. I thought you was going to get pumped.
I was an honorary Eagles supporter that day. Because my brother and dad go for Eagles, and my brother was at that grand final, and he went 2015 when they lost. So I really wanted them to win for him, just to see some success, and it was one of the best games I've ever seen. I felt like an Eagles supporter for the day. It was crazy.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Look, so I was happy for all of my friends who are West Coast supporters, because that goal, I did want that goal to go in.
It was so clutch. It's one of the. It's just. I don't know how he could do that.
I'm just happy that game ended up being close, because it didn't look good in that first quarter. But yeah, I don't know. I love footy.
Well, there haven't been good grand finals. Like, that was a good one, but like Adelaide got pumped, GWS got pumped. Mm-hmm. When Hawthorn won their 3, they were,
Yeah.
The Bulldogs one was good actually against Sydney, but yeah, it was good to see a close one again. Eagles like close grand finals. The Sydney one in 06, 2018 against Collingwood. So
it's hard not to like West Coast. They're such a dominant force.
They really are.
In Western Australia.
Can we clip that up?
Oh, but you can, because I'm not going to deny that my team's shit and your team's better. It's just I would like my team to win a premiership before I die.
Do you think it will happen?
It's very hard to say. Look, right now,
statistically it should, but I mean Saints have gone 60 years, so
yeah. And look, with the current team we have, like, we've got a very young team, and like, you got Chera, Brayshaw, bloody Fredericks. You got all these new players who are young. Like, they're all below 25 years old, and then You got Fife, who's 28, 29. That Mundy will go. I feel like the future for Fremantle looks bright, and I think you just got to bear with the next couple of years. But I can see us making finals in the next 2-3 years.
I think that's a fair assumption, making finals.
Yeah, because I do see a lot of improvements from, I guess, Ross Lyon's team. Like kicking efficiency were number 1 in the comp somehow. But then, yeah,
Wow, I didn't know.
number 1 kicking efficiency this season.
How are you? How can that be possible? How can you be so good at kicking and not
I think we just kick from wing to wing.
really accurate in the mid? Yeah.
I mean, we just do a lot of chip kicks, like, I don't know, Collingwood's game style. But yeah, look, I'm hopeful, but I'm also preparing myself for the worst. Like tomorrow, I'm going to the game, my first game of the year that I'm going to. We'll probably get thumped by Collingwood. I know they didn't show up last week, but they're due for a win. So, look, try hard, Freo. This will come out Monday after the game, so I might look like an idiot if we win.
Out.
But yeah, I love Freo, and I'll never jump ship. But I just hope
You can't jump ship.
No,
You cannot change teams.
that's like last week. St Kilda won in a great game, and Dill's mum goes for St Kilda, and Dill goes, "Fuck
Ridiculously.
Adelaide, I want to be St Kilda supporter now."
Fuck yeah. No, I do have a soft spot for St Kilda
Yeah.
Eagles just because
Yeah,
I want
which
them
is
to
fair
win
enough.
for Mum because she would lose her fucking mind, bro.
Mm. Oh, we love footy.
It is good.
It is good. What's this story, Dill?
All right. So a bloke sent this in, right?
Yeah.
He knows of some people. So there was a party, right?
Right.
Girlfriend's gone to bed upstairs. She's sleeping. And then there's a party going on downstairs of her boyfriend and all his mates, right?
Okay.
So his mate's really, really drunk, goes upstairs into the room, into the bedroom, starts like spooning her. They have sex, right? She claims she thought it was her boyfriend.
Bullshit.
No fucking way. No way. Like,
Okay, all right. I think you would know. Different touch,
surely.
different penis. Like there's things there that you would know.
She wanted it, bro.
That's not my boyfriend.
Nah, I don't buy that at all.
What are your thoughts, Jess? That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, wait, was she really drunk?
I think she was like sleeping and then
Yeah.
she wakes up thinking, she said, I thought it was my boyfriend, they have sex, but
This
it sounds a bit too convenient.
Someone starts spooning you in your sleep. Surely, like, if you're not at home with your partner, if you're at a party, the first thing you do is identify who it is, right? Like, the first thing you do. You don't just start fucking them.
I'd like to see some ID before.
Fuck
because
yeah.
if you're a bit blind, you need to actually have a bit of confirmation before that.
Oh, yeah. That's from a bloke called Kieran. I want him to tell us if they're still together, like if the boyfriend bought the story.
So Kieran was just at the party.
Yeah,
Right.
or knows of it. I don't
Okay.
know, but yeah,
That's ridiculous.
she knew.
I think
what was
she
going
knew,
on.
and it's very sad for the boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what was going on in their relationship. It's none of my business, but I'd love to know. Jesus
That's
Christ.
insane. But when I heard, I was like,
Yeah.
no, she knew what was going on. They planned that. She's like, I'll go up. You come up 30 minutes later, and it's all good.
Tell by the smell.
Yeah,
like, you
everything.
can smell like what your
Yeah.
partner smells like.
I rate that.
Yeah.
The
Hand
sense.
size, everything, bro. Nah, she fucking knew, and he knew as well. The drunk guy.
Even if you've got like
Yeah.
Imagine their excuse. Yeah, he knew.
or maybe he didn't. Maybe he was that blind. He thought, oh,
Thought
you,
it was his
you
mate.
can be my girlfriend.
That's crazy.
Anyway,
Tragic for him, but I love stories like that. That's
So do
just, That's life, you know.
It is life. All right, let's get into your favourite part of the potty, voice messages.
Hope you're enjoying the Jamo and Dylan show. It's now time to have your stories heard and your questions answered. To be featured on the potty, message the boys at Jamo and Dylan on Instagram.
All right, first one of the week from Sean.
G'day boys, how you going? Alright, so we got a fucking question. Now, in Queensland and New South Wales, the rugby league presence is quite large, and obviously in Perth and like Southern Australia, it's more AFL. What would you do if a Queenslander or a New South Wales cunt walked up to you and said, fucking league is better than AFL? Alright, thanks boys. Have a good one.
You're entitled to your opinion, fuckhead, but our sport is much bigger.
Yeah, there's like I don't mind watching rugby. Their grand final's a good watch. I've watched it a few years.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
But it's not a better sport than AFL. AFL incorporates everything.
It's
you
the
know?
athlete sport.
Yeah. Even like lately, some Americans have been watching it because of
I like
Mason
that.
Cox and what's his name?
Yeah, that's it.
And they've been going crazy over it. They can't believe how fucking...
And he's got a huge following,
Yeah.
so it's good that he's actually
And
promoting.
he played
it.
NFL, and he's like, no, AFL's... That's the fucking... that's
it's the real
business,
deal.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? What would you say if someone said rugby is better?
Yeah, well, I probably wouldn't engage with them because I'd be like, this guy's drunk.
Yeah.
But there's no way rugby's better. But one thing I've noticed is like, if you grow up liking rugby or you grow up liking footy, it's so hard to meet someone who likes both. Like,
Yeah.
they're just the
And I don't
Venn
even
diagram's tiny.
meet rugby people in WA. Like, I've barely...
Or if they
encountered-
do, they're the weird kid at school.
Yeah.
Like, they're like the weird kid at school that like is socially isolated and is like, nah, fuck AFL. Rugby's so much better.
Talking about league when no one else cares.
Yeah, and then I was just like, oh yeah, they hit each other harder, they're tougher, so it's a better sport. Like, it's ridiculous. But yeah, no, I won't try and change anyone's mind. But like, rugby's just such a negative sport. You got to throw backwards. Like, I find that hard to
The
watch.
energy you don't like.
Yeah, it's bad vibes.
I watch State Origin. That's about it. Like when that's on, I watch it. But
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, the vibes of State of Origin are immaculate.
Yeah.
I do love that, but that's also because, like, my mum is from New South Wales, so I have that bond with New South Wales. But yeah,
I actually like that. Rugby's a negative sport.
and I also
I
see
don't-
it,
I've never thought about it like that. That's
I see
fucking...
it as
No
like
other sport goes backwards.
I see it as like, no offense intended, but it's like a simpleton sport.
Oh, it's definitely a big goofy sport.
Yeah,
like
like,
they're
because-
strong, but it's like grab ball run.
Yeah,
like,
no, it's caveman.
yeah.
Was it the Vikings? I think
Really?
That makes a lot of sense.
I could be making that up. Someone who liked rugby sold that to me. Was like, yeah, the Vikings played it, so it's better.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
Hi guys, it's Phoebe. I fucking love the potty. The other night I got really drunk. I'm 18 by the way. Got with a 24-year-old. I slept with him. I left at 5:30 in the morning and he still has my earring. What's your advice? What should I do? How do I get it back?
You can ask.
Go
him
back
about
to the
that.
crime scene, I guess. I think
so-
you just got to go back and get it.
But how's she lost her earring? It won.
It sounds
Singular.
like it was a wild night and she got out of there quickly. I left at 5:30. Maybe she was rushing to get out of there.
True,
She came to
just-
and she
just
thought,
forgot
oh,
it.
fuck.
Or maybe she wears one, like a gay man from the 70s.
Who knows, eh? I think you just go back and get it. He's probably a nice bloke.
Yeah, I think he means well, unless he's stolen it. But I doubt he'd do much with one earring.
Yeah, I don't even think you can.
It's good
like,
to-
take one earring to like fucking cash converters or something.
It's
They
good to
probably
know that she had a good night, though. She seemed very elated. So,
definitely had fun. It sounded like she was on a big night out when she sent that in. So
so all the best in your search for your lost earring.
definitely.
Hi boys, love the potty. This is a bit intense, but how would you murder someone?
Oh, I love this show.
I've always thought that I don't know how people don't get away with murder. I think it's easy to get away with.
Okay, how
I feel like if you plan it, like you could definitely, like if you didn't just do it, like, you know, like if I just killed you right now, obviously I'm fucked. But if you actually thought about it, and didn't you do law? You really could get around this.
Yeah, I don't really know if they really teach us that.
Well, there used to be that show, How to Get Away with Murder. It was on like Channel 7 or whatever.
Yeah. So how would you murder someone?
Yeah, go on.
I don't know. Is it just like they're just a normal person? They're not like high profile or anything.
Yeah, let's just say it's someone that has done something to your family. What are you doing? Because I'm not doing the old chop up into
No,
bags,
maybe I'll
send
just
them down
like,
the river.
you know, kind of follow them around or whatever, and then if they go to get in their car at night, just make sure I'm covered. Like put like plastic on my feet or something, so you know, like that they can't do the footprints.
You have put thought into this.
I feel like
I don't know
maybe
how I'd kill them though. Like I wouldn't. Maybe just like no, because a needle gives evidence.
I feel like
I don't fucking know.
Khabib Nurmagomedov chokehold because
I don't want to
then
I don't want to touch him.
Oh, true. Maybe I'll get like a pool cue or a long stick, and if someone's on a bridge, put.
That's you got. How long you
poke
have
them
to
off.
wait for them to be on the
Because-
bridge though?
You know, people always wish they can fly. I've
Just
just
take 'em
granted
off.
his wish.
How would you do it, Jesse?
I don't
From
know.
your expertise.
I don't know. I think one thing you're overlooking, I think, like, is the build up of evidence is so easy. So like,
What I've just said is incriminating.
yeah. So what you exactly. Yeah.
I feel like if you push them
You're
off a
fucked.
bridge, you'd get found.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm sure someone would also see it. You have to rely on the circumstance where someone's walking along a bridge and there's no one else around and you have a pool cue. But but even what you said before, you're like, imagine this person's done something to your family. The first thing the police would look for is, what has this bloke done to other people? Who has a motive to kill him? And then you have all the issues of, you know, how to do it and then how to dispose of the body. So, yeah, I just wouldn't do it.
It's not an easy job, is it?
Would not recommend.
We've just fallen victim to that question.
Yeah, but we're incriminated.
We are.
This bloke said, if you could turn any movie into a porno, what would it be? And the cast is the same. So, like, if you like Jennifer Aniston, do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, that's a thinking man's question.
That's a great question. So let's think of movies.
And it's
that we
it's produced
appreciate.
by Braziers, he said. So Brazzers.
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 Yeah,
Braziers is the fucking, like, what girls wear.
That was like a French term. Braziers. All right, so let's think of some movies. We've got we love The Wolf of Wall Street. Great movie.
Oh, with
but that would be an orgy with all the office workers.
it'd just be a lot of
Yuck.
blokes on
Yeah.
Margot Robbie. So
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ.
what's like a good movie with? I don't know.
Well, let's just think about hot women, hot actresses first, and then maybe go to movies. So Scarlett Johansson in her prime.
Yeah, probably my favorite.
Wow.
In her prime, I really was a huge fan.
Are we all thinking Prisoner of Azkaban?
Oh, too many wands up asses.
It's a bit young as well.
True. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh, Hagrid.
Too many wands up asses.
Yeah, why is that the first one?
Well, look.
Jamo forgets about the 12-year-old Hermione or whatever.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't. That wouldn't be my main target, would it?
What?
I'd go for Dumbledore.
Didn't they say Hagrid's gay? Did that come out?
Nah, Dumbledore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Isn't SpongeBob gay as well? I saw that.
Probably.
Apparently he's gay too. That makes sense.
There was I think someone who created Scooby Doo. I might be wrong. They said Velma is lesbian.
Okay.
Oh, you can see that.
You can see that. But
Yeah.
I think on one of the movies or something, she went on a date with a guy and they actually went out for a bit. So maybe she was a bit confused.
Yeah.
Oh
What
well.
movie would I pick?
I'm really struggling with a choice.
I think there is no. Oh, there's actually one with what's it called? It's a chick flick, and it has Scarlett Johansson and Jennifer Aniston in it.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It's like, and it has lots of actors
Yeah,
in it.
it's the one about something
It's like
about
a Valentine's-
the way men treat
Yeah, yeah.
women. He's not that into you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'd pick that then
That was
because
the movie I
that
was thinking of when I said
that has Scarlett,
Wow.
that has Jennifer Aniston. You know, that's there you go.
Who are the men in that movie?
There is a Ben Affleck in it.
Okay.
Oh, and
Bradley Cooper.
yeah,
I think that's what we go with.
yeah,
then.
that's a good. Yeah, I like Bradley Cooper as well.
Yeah.
It's funny you said that. That's the first movie that popped in my
Really?
head when it came up, so yeah.
There you go.
That's incredible. There you go.
Jennifer and Scarlett in a movie.
And I've never seen the movie, but I know the women and I know the men.
Watch it. I actually don't mind
So-
a good little rom-com every now and then. I'm guilty of it.
Contradicts everything you've ever said.
I know. I do love them, bro. Like I do.
Fair enough.
Abby's got 2. Let's see what she's got.
Hey boys, I'm just gonna go straight into it. So, I'm a picky eater, and I get a lot of shit for that. Like, we get a bad rap.
Sure do.
But I want to know your opinion on us picky eaters, because how I think of it, I don't like tomatoes, so I'm not gonna eat them, and it's not my choice. It's like my taste buds and stuff just won't let me eat it. Like, I don't like it at all. Like in the last party, you said that you don't like sauce, and I'm the same. I just cannot have sauce. Like, I will vomit it back up, and I think it's because of the texture. Like, maybe picky eaters have, like, a more developed sense of taste or something, and we just, like, don't like it.
I think we've got underdeveloped taste buds.
I don't think it's more developed.
So, I think I'm a very picky eater.
You are a very picky eater.
Yeah, I'm growing to like
Slowly?
more things. Yeah, definitely. Every year I'm racking up at least 2 more things.
Are you a picky eater?
So I am in a sense in that I will have weird food quirks, but if somebody served up a meal and it had shit on it, I didn't like it, I'd just fucking eat it. So like I don't choose to eat avocados, but then my dad's fiance started making me avocado salads for lunch, and I just destroyed them. So
Yeah.
like, you know, that's where I think it comes down to. You can eat what you want, but people who are just like disgusted by their food touching other food, like that's some childhood trauma shit.
We
like,
used to have a kid who wouldn't touch his food with his hands, so he's eating a sandwich and he would keep it in the plastic.
Yeah.
still, and
oh, that's
yeah.
strange. Yeah.
He didn't want to touch make contact.
So I think, like, without being disrespectful, I think that actually is like something like
Yeah.
that person has issues. Like, and I think it's common with OCD people as well.
Jamo's an extremely picky eater.
Yeah,
It's funny.
okay.
It's actually funny to be around.
So what happens if you come across food that you don't like? What's your reaction to it? Like, if you ate something you didn't like?
If I ate something I didn't like, I'd be like, oh, fuck this.
Can I tell you a Subway order?
All right, my Subway order. Ready, everyone? All right. And this is developed, mind you.
It used to be less, man. This is
Just a superior race.
Okay, ready? So I get Italian herb and cheese footlong, right? I
Into
get
it.
chicken classic, right? So I get my chicken because I love chicken. Probably my favourite food.
So far, so good.
Right. I get some cheddar cheese. Stop laughing, man. Then I get some lettuce. I get some carrot and some salt and pepper, and I'm done.
That's not too bad. That's very similar to mine.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, I just go lettuce and chicken schnitzel. That's probably even less. Yeah. See? Well, we're on the same
Wowee,
page. But the thing is, if somebody made me and got me all this shit with like pickles, okay, maybe not pickles, I'd probably pick those out. But if it had like tomato in it, I'd
Yeah.
prefer not to have it, but I would still eat it.
Okay,
So
yeah.
that's the difference.
See, I think I could eat. Like, I think I can eat anything. I don't know if I'll throw it back up like Abby would.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah, that is weird.
see, I can eat stuff, although I will be disgusted and not feel happy for the next 6 months. So yeah, it could be mild autism. It could be something. Mild? Yeah, I don't think I'm there, but like I'm good enough.
Clip that.
Cancelled. But nah, I think I'm not as bad as what people make me out to be. Because I made a big deal about food back when I was younger. But if it's life or death, I'm eating that meal.
terrible with hot food as well. That's your weakness. Like spicy.
Oh no, you're spicy.
yeah.
I struggle with that. It's just
That's
the
good
pure white
Yeah.
within me. But yeah, it's like we did a video with Druzy, the footy kicking one, and I wasn't going to lose because I'm not going to eat that chili.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's right.
even though it's just a normal chili, it's not like a ghost pepper or anything. I was still dreading that, so I had to perform. Yeah. So that's me, and I think you're pretty good with food.
Pretty good.
And you had that good food experience.
I did. It was good, you know. Broadening my taste buds.
So, if you could choose a time to live in, when would it be? Like, would you live in ancient Greeks' time, medieval times, 1 million BC, like 1960s, maybe even the future? You never know what the future could hold.
1 million
'Cause
BC.
Even though life is probably good now, and women have more rights and all that than they used to, I would probably be a caveman, not gonna lie.
Cave
Like,
woman.
life would be so simple. Or maybe even a Spartan. That would be pretty cool.
Spartan. Well, she's the
Spartan or a
thinker.
cave woman?
If you're a cave woman, I believe you were getting raped.
Yeah, I don't think.
It was
yeah,
very primal. It was very
animalistic.
see
back then.
woman, take woman,
Yeah.
fuck woman. So the accent. Was,
I don't know where I'd pick. I'm not going to pick like the 50s because that's too easy.
I don't want to pick way
Maybe I'll
way
go
back.
like medieval, like a Italy in like the 1400s or something. Something nice.
And
I don't know.
I feel like cavemen would live till they're like 30. Like surely they didn't have a long lifespan.
I don't think they did have long lifespans back
And
in the day.
you look trash, and you're walking around with barely any clothes on. Yep, you'd get cold. You'd get cold.
You'd be a man though.
Oh, you're a man.
You're a man.
But you're also a criminal. But back then,
There's
it
no
doesn't
laws.
count. No.
What's moral, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Or the future. I'd love to see the future. I
Future
want to
would be
freeze
cool.
myself instead of dying, and hopefully they can bring me back.
I might choose future as well. What about
I
yourself?
don't know.
The thing is, the problem with anything like pre 500 years ago is like, I don't want to die at the age of 14 with 2 kids of
Yeah.
diarrhea. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, like the common cold or something
Yeah.
fucks you up. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and the fashion shit. Nah, but look, if I could go to the future, I think like life's getting better, technology's getting better. Hopefully, coronavirus isn't around in the, like in 50 years, but like I think it only gets better in the future. But if I had to say the past, I think the 70s looks cool.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
I could do the 90s as well, but that's probably like too close to home. Like that's only 30 years ago nearly. But yeah, I'd say the 70s because it looks cool. But,
70s in Australia, or are you thinking 70s somewhere?
70s in Australia would be cool. Well, that was when my dad was like my age. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's very manageable. Yeah.
That's cool. I rate that. That's like I was thinking maybe 70s or 80s, but then also her question didn't include anything close to what we are now.
Yeah, that's true.
But how far into the future would you want to go, Dill? Like, are you talking 50 years? Are you
Like,
talking
am I
300?
talking the year 3000 or just like 2100?
Because I feel like by the time...
maybe 2100, just to see.
In 100 years' time...
Because imagine everything from 1920 to now.
Mm-hmm.
Think of everything that's changed. Like, it's not even... You wouldn't even think it's the same place.
Yeah.
And so imagine in 100 more years, it's going to be fucking... Who knows, man?
Getting wild.
Humans will be probably different looking, and I don't know. It might be weird. There'll be robots and shit for sure.
Longer lifespan.
Oh,
Yeah.
easily. That would probably be like 15, 20 years, I reckon.
Have like robotic dogs and
It's gonna be
shit.
scary.
Remote control penis.
G'day boys, just sending in a message. Is it okay for, like, if an old senile cunt fucking, like, picks on you because you go for a certain team, is it okay to retaliate and call them a bunch of fucking names, or is it just, like, disrespectful?
He seems angry right now.
So he's like 18, 19.
Context?
The 60-year-old wants to fight him. The 60-year-old goes for the Crows, and this bloke goes for Port. So
Right, so...
is he saying, is it okay to go back at him?
Well, look, retaliation's never
What
the
I'm
answer.
confused is, where is this happening? Like, does he know this bloke?
Is it happening at the shops?
Is
Yeah,
it
fuel
just,
station?
yeah, does it, like, do they sit near each other at the footy, or how does he know the 60-year-old?
How is
Doesn't
this...
sound like his dad or anything,
No.
does it?
How has this come about?
Yeah, I want to know the relationship.
We do need context before answering. But look, retaliate. If he's giving you a hard time, by all means, go back. But don't murder.
Just say, I don't
Just
know.
shout. Be
Well,
smart
it's an
with
easy
it.
one for him because Port's at the top and Adelaide's at the bottom, so he can just be like, look at the ladder, mate. Like,
Yeah, or just get the ladder up on your phone, maybe a
Exactly.
screensaver, and just flip it.
Old man won't care about a phone. He'll
Yeah.
probably...
Oh, you can just say, how many wins have you had this year?
Exactly.
Naught.
Hey boys, question is, if you were to die today and you could find out 5 statistics of your life, what would the 5 statistics be?
Wow.
That's
Five's heaps. So let's narrow it down to 2 each.
Yeah.
Two
stats.
statistics of your life. So I heard this earlier on in the week, and I've been thinking about it. How many times I've wanked in my lifetime would be scary.
Yeah, that's a scary
I
amount.
don't really want to see that. And then you think like,
Overwhelming.
maybe the amount of money we've made from like on the toilet. So like you're at work, you go to the toilet.
Okay.
So let's say I go twice in like an 8-hour shift. You add it up. That's like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes.
Over a lifetime, everything adds up, you know?
Could have made $1,000
Wait, did
for
he
a
say
poo.
if you were to die today?
Yeah, if you were to die today, what are the stats you'd want to know about your life?
See, a lot of them I wouldn't want to know because I wouldn't want to see how much time I've wasted.
True. Like how much time you've spent sleeping is nearly half your life. Like it's ridiculous.
How many
when
double
you think
blacks
about
I've
it,
had because that's my favourite drink, so that'll be a lot.
let's say, okay, so you're 21, right?
Yeah.
And let's say you've lived only half your life because of sleep. Obviously, it'd be a bit higher living, but that means you've technically only lived. You've only been awake for what, 11, 12 years of your life.
Yeah.
So you're a 12-year-old.
That's all right. 12 was fun.
Yeah.
I've done a lot.
Before all the issues and problems arose.
I don't know what stats. That's hard because, like I said, there's a lot I just don't want to know.
Maybe how many times I kicked the footy, because that would be ridiculous.
That on one hand.
What about you? You thinking anything?
Nothing comes to mind, eh? It's like every stat that you've sort of mentioned is almost depressing. Like,
Yeah.
I was thinking like, how much money have I had throughout my life?
Yeah.
But even then, that's like, shit, I've wasted a lot of money, eh?
Because I know what you mean.
It is very scary.
I just go, don't worry about it. Give it to the next person. I'm good.
What about the bloke who sent this in? What's his name?
Max. No. Luca.
Luca. Let us know what your stats
Yeah.
would be, and everyone listening, let us know what your let's say 2 or 3 stats
just
would
don't
be,
wanna know.
because I'm very confused because I don't know what I'd want to see.
Yeah.
Maybe the amount of times I kicked the footy and the amount of times.
Hours I spent playing PlayStation.
It'd be good if you could know the amount of times people have thought about you.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Like, how many times the chicks checked you out?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's a great one.
Like the amount of times the chicks checked you out without you knowing.
It's like 4. so low. You're like,
Every answer
the
can be
person's like,
depressing.
no data. Sorry, you got one guess left.
How are we, fellas? Love the potty. My question is, when you are to be as successful as Hamish and Andy, what do you think you would do for a television show? For example, they did a series of gap years. Would you do this, or would you guys have something else in mind? Cheers.
I love the thought of the gap year.
That would be a great little getaway, get paid to travel and
Travelling,
do
yeah.
crazy shit. I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah,
That's all in my
I want
mind.
to relive that, basically.
What would you do, Jesse? What's your television goals?
Wild fantasy. Honestly, like I thought maybe kind of almost the same what I'm doing, like the True Footy podcast, but have it like a respected show that maybe gets on KO Sports or something like that. That's probably the end goal, and like something that will incorporate like other YouTubers sort of cycling in and out. Like I don't know, that's kind of the goal. So not too far removed from what I'm trying to do already, but yeah.
Make it more like how they with the Premier League, they have like soccer Saturdays and stuff.
Yeah.
Make it like a footy version where it's like a proper show and it's just good banter.
Do you know the Kickoff by True Geordie?
Yeah.
So that's kind of something I'm trying
That's
to
cool,
emulate,
yeah.
but that's obviously like the production team behind that is like there's like 10 blokes in the room. It's ridiculous.
Plus just the scale of soccer, makes those things a lot
And on the
bigger
kickoff,
for audience,
on the kickoff, their lighting, their setup, that table's huge. They have a sliding camera, like it's ridiculous. The production's insane, and they're doing really well off that. So yeah, if you could emulate that in a footy sense, that would be insane.
Yeah, it would be crazy.
Boys, love the potty. My question is, if you are in a relationship but you still watch porn, does that count as cheating?
Oh, look.
Hey boys, love the
no.
potty.
Nah, I wouldn't.
No.
I don't think it's cheating.
No.
It's not. It's
If a girl watches 50 Shades of Grey, is that cheating?
no way.
What if she watches Blacked?
Well, yeah, you can't emulate it, can you? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, what's Blacked?
But no, I don't think it's cheating.
It's not. It's definitely not
just,
cheating. Yeah.
Like it's on your phone. It's
Yeah.
visual. Yeah, you gotta.
It's like, so people have imaginations. You can
Yeah.
imagine stuff, but the visual will be more beneficial to you,
Stimulating.
more stimulating.
Yeah, I don't
Exactly.
think it's cheating.
Do you think this is an interesting one? Do you think watching porn reduces cheating, or do you think it promotes cheating?
Fuck.
I can see both sides because obviously if there's a video and it's,
Well,
like,
yeah.
if they're breaking up a relationship in that, some people fantasize over that. But then I guess in another sense, because you're not actually going out and doing it, you just...
Well, because it could be some bored husband at home and he sees like fucking waitress sucks husband's dick, and then he goes, oh, that could be me. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's
But then like if he doesn't act upon that, it's still bad that he's having the thought, but that's getting pushed into his head as soon as he clicks on
what
the
do you
page.
reckon? Do you reckon it increases or decreases?
I think he encourages it a little bit in the sense that like you got a different girl with every click. Do you know what I mean? So the male brain kind of gets used to that, and I reckon long term that would have a
It's probably like
a strain.
It gives like unrealistic
Well, but does
whatever of women
True.
in a way,
Very true. And likewise, it would be the same
Yeah.
for women, but
We're not 8 inches and 6'4" and fucking a beast. You know what I mean?
yeah. But then does it sort of get it out of the guy system as well? Because at the end of the day, people have these fantasies, whether or not they're watching porn. Like does it help ease that or what? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I'm
I
not
don't
not
know.
the person to ask.
I actually watched the thing on.
For a lot of these questions, I'm not the person to ask.
I watched a thing on Terry Crews,
Yeah.
and he was like addicted to porn and he like talks about it, and he reckons it like he then turned into him cheating, and it like was a big problem for
Really?
him in his life, and since he's stopped watching it, he's been a lot better.
Then again, he could be using that as an excuse as to why he cheated.
Yeah, maybe.
He says, "Oh, it had a big influence because I don't know."
Who knows? There's a lot of like you always see. I see like a lot of TED talks on YouTube, and it's like the effects
That's
of
the
not
thing.
watching porn and on the brain, and just it's crazy.
Like if you're an addict, that
if you're an addict on
that's
anything, I guess.
yeah, it's never good, is it?
Yeah.
No.
Last voice message of the potty from Andrew.
Hey boys, big fan of the show. I'd just like to know, this one's for Jesse, why do you like the taste of arsehole so much? Just a quick one, that's all. Cheers lads, love the show.
Fucking hate this kid.
He acts like he's a fan. How casual did he do it? He's like...
he's running with this joke. But he loves it, so I don't know why he's complaining.
He did have do you know how his date went? He's told us he was going on a date
I don't know.
with a young Asian woman. And then went to South Perth. Do you remember that when we made the South or whatever? I
Yeah.
wonder how that went.
No, he messaged us the next day. Did you not check?
Oh, what did he say?
He said it went well, and he'll hopefully see her again.
There you go. True love.
There you go. I don't know what's happened since then, but good on him.
He's a funny kid.
Shout out Druzy. I guess we'll wrap it up now. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it was good.
Go sub to him if you love your footy.
Get him to 10K.
Yeah, push it. And yeah, any last words? Actually, we'll do what True Geordie does. How would you like to be remembered?
I must admit I've stolen that for a few of my own pods. It's a great one. Yeah, no, thank you for having me. It's something. This is kind of like a little achievement getting on this show. You guys have obviously got a really successful thing going here, and definitely envious of what you got going here. So thanks so much for having me. How would I like to be remembered? Honestly, probably just as someone who was a good bloke, as lame as that sounds. That's more my value set.
That's such an Australian. Yeah, I love it, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd rather sort of people who watch True Footy and who have been a guest on the pod be like, oh, that was a cool experience. I get something out of that rather than the sub count. I know it's very easy to say, but I think deep down I would prefer having less subs and a sort of better community going than more subs and half the people saying what a flog, which some of them do, but that's cool.
For sure. And it was actually good. That's the first time we've met someone on the potty because we haven't met Jesse before. So that was cool as well. So there you go.
Thanks again, mate. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and we'll see you next week. Thanks heaps.